Okay. Well, we're back with more control for all of that. Okay. We begin with our transformer of the day. I thought after doing Airwave, it'd be good to do Ironworks, the Autobot little base, mini base builder. Um, Turns into a weird little service station. Yeah. Much like Airwave, Ironworks is just. Hmm, oh dear, it looks like some of my glue is coming undone. Might need to work on that later. Is meant to come apart into many, many pieces and then be rebuilt. So, torso, rotate the head around, flip it down. Mine's got a very stiff set of locking pins, which makes it actually quite difficult to get it to go like it's supposed to. There we go. You gotta like really force it. Uh, so, fold the legs inside the legs. Trying to remember which way some of this stuff goes. This is the ramp. This is. Oh. I can't remember how this is supposed to sit together exactly. I remember that this goes on the back here because this whole thing has to sit just sort of off to the side. Remembering how all the pieces go together is just always a nightmare for me because I can never remember how everything goes on these guys. I probably should have looked this up again before I did this, but I didn't. Here we are. Ah, yes. Now it's starting to come back to me. This part goes here because this part goes actually in here. And then this part goes in there because they plug together. Okay, there's part of this whole mess. Then was it this one or this one goes there? I think it was this one. Now it's all starting to come back together. You plug those into the knees. This sits there like that. This comes around, goes on the front. Yep. And then this plugs in the back. But weird little crane thing. Ironworks is fine. I think if I actually did the base building thing, it'd be more interesting. But I didn't because it'd be expensive to buy that many. But I do think it's cool that it exists. Like, sometimes you just want toys that can do multiple things. It's why Transformers are cool. If I had one real complaint about Ironworks here, it would have to be the fact that the hip joint is the way it is. It's attached to the backside of this road plate, and it's held on by just a simple swing hinge, and it's got a spring in it, but it's not a very good spring, and it's not very centered, and I'd rather they just had done another like peg, like from the top of the hip waist into the underside of the scoop arm. I think it would have lasted longer and done better, but I'm not in charge of toy design, so what do I know? I just think it would have also been simpler and probably cheaper in the end. So yeah, Ironworks. He's a weird thing. But that's not why we're here. We're here for control. And boy, oh boy, is there some stuff going on in control. So you might remember last time we became one of the cats. Which was fun. I mean, we get to wear cat ears. But I believe we only get to wear them down here in the foundation, which is disappointing. No, go back into the display. Good enough. Alright. So we've got our cat ears, but we can only wear them down here. And before I fired up, I was like, alright, I want to find out exactly what I missed that wasn't letting me trigger this achievement, and there was
plus 86.
This.
There's been a change. Hercules and Mabel, I mean, it numbers 3 and 11, attacked my staff today. 2 fatalities. 3 if you count Mabel. She was always so kind. As a result, we are abandoning the Foundation. Northmore gave the order to transfer our resources to the upper floors. Now that my control points allow us to safely come and go from the New York streets. Did I forget to include that fact in my previous logs? I've been so busy. Using the arrays I made. Control points have been established throughout the oldest house. Excuse me if I don't sound excited, it's just... A few months ago, I would have been overjoyed to leave the Foundation. But now I realize I've grown fond of it. There's something deep in the stone here, deeper than that watching presence. Something warm. I feel it needing me. I won't go. I'll refuse. Northmore won't be happy, but so be it. I'm starting to see him for what he is. An impotent storm. Father Shade in a cheap suit.
So yeah, that was what we'd missed. Otherwise, I believe we've completed everything there is to complete in the Foundation. Which is, I mean, it is what it is. But it's time. I think we'll go start the next DLC stuff. Requires us to go to the elevator. Well, I've got my cat ears still.
The elevator.
Oh.
There was something there, reaching for her, trying to make her act. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man, a hunger in the dark. Investigation sector.
Investigation sector, huh? We should check this out.
Well, if we get to keep wearing the cat ears, why wouldn't we? Wrong button. This button. Oh, right. We're supposed to also deal with hiss nodes. Let's go deal with hiss nodes first. Since we're here. Gotta go to the communications department. I'll be right with you. 1 second. Alright, that part's done. Hey, there's still nodes here. How did you get... It was totally on the other side of that wall, right? I'm not crazy? Do 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 do. Come on, get through that. Where'd it go? You. you going? Come back here. Yep. I mean, we're one of the cats now. We have to wear the ears forever. That's how that works, right? That guy just vanish? Okay. Cool. We need to just remember that we are a worm through time. Alright. Let's see. Hotline. This is what I wanted.
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there. A presence. Jesse Faden could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Faden was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this. Faden paused to feel it. The force at play here. It was changing things around her, subtle, trying to make her act. Faden didn't like that. Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else, too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile resonance. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights winked back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button on the elevator control panel. Investigation Sector. Faden pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
Nice. Alright, well. Let's go ride our elevator.
Give him hell, Director.
Oh, good. Good. Ugh. Okay, it got me.
Hello? Anyone here?
Guess not.
Oh, there's gonna be so many new things to read.
Seems a lot more crowded than the rest of the Bureau.
Go back up? What do you mean go back up? Can't go back up. We got stuff to do. Mr. Dennis, a request came through recently from an FBI agent asking for all our files on Bright Falls, specifically on the disappearance of the author Alan Wake. Per the interagency information exchange agreement, I had some paper pushers gather up a folder of all the pre-approved files. Don't worry, all the inappropriate material is either missing or redacted. But I'm writing to let you know that we received this request from a special agent named Alex Casey. Sounds familiar, right? That's because Alex Casey is the name of the fictional detective in those hard-boiled crime books Alan Wake wrote. Pretty interesting that an FBI agent sharing a name with the most famous character Wake wrote is looking into a case dealing with a writer's fiction coming true. I think this is worth looking into, but what's your opinion? Just give the word and they'll start surveillance on this guy. Special Investigator Gleason. So it started because we approached the elevator and we received the hotline call from Wake. Did you see this?
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there. A presence. Jesse Faden could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Faden was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this. Faden paused to feel it. The force at play here. It was changing things around her, subtle. Trying to make her act. Faden didn't like that. Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else, too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile resonance. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights winked back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button.
I don't understand how a professional writer is a hunt and peck typer.
Faden pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
Anyway, so that's why we got on the elevator and why there's a new button. Official findings report regarding Dr. Casper Darling, internal confidential. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation D0845 was launched into the ethical practices of Dr. Casper Darling, head of research. Despite the accounts of anonymous redacted regarding inhumane treatment of a redacted currently housed in the Bureau, our official findings regarding this were inconclusive. Numerous obstacles arose during this investigation. The majority of redacted sector personnel seemed to be wholly unaware of any such redacted contained there. One redacted confirmed the redacted's codename to be redacted, but all files pertaining to that name were inaccessible, being classified under the highest clearance level. Investigators were similarly blocked from entering the redacted research wing to interview its staff. The matter was further complicated by the lack of clarity on whether non-human paranatural entities warrant humane treatment. While this investigation cannot address any charges against Dr. Darling, we do recommend an investigation into redacted research. I'm going to guess this is dimensional research. This is in response to him bringing Hedron here. Because it specifically says inhuman. Or non-human. So it's not in reference to Dylan. Battery pack. Good, good. More files on the floor. Mr. Kirkland, here are latest agents confirmed missing, presumed dead from the containment breach yesterday. Agent Jonathan Connor, researcher Ezra Cruz, Agent Carolyn Dempsey, Agent Lindsay Malcolm, Agent Charles Murray, Agent Derek Shaw. Letters of condolence will be delivered to you to sign prior to sending them to their families. You will be updated as soon as additional confirmations are made. Also, per your request, a network engineer checked how many cases were backed up digitally. Unfortunately, a large number of active investigations were not archived yet, and the only hard copies of reports exist behind the firebreak. They're lost, I'm afraid. Oh, something went bad. Okay, there's a staircase there, and there's something back there. Burrow Tractor. Note, miscommunication led to a local coroner examining the body of William Burrow. Burrow William, male, Caucasian. Case summary. 33-year-old man found dead on his property per police report. Remains obtained from coroner's office also include blood, urine, bile, stomach contents, and bone fragments. Autopsy findings. Blunt force injuries. Head. A. Lacerations, left ear and cheek. Blunt force injuries. Extremities. Dislocation, right knee. Complete avulsion of the upper right extremity with associated fracture of the proximal right humerus. Extensive trauma, abdominal region. Complete avulsion of multiple organs, including stomach, heart, liver, pancreas, kidneys, and portions of the large and small intestine, all missing from the scene. Conclusion. It is my opinion that Mr. Burrow's death is not the result of a mechanical accident as claimed by authorities. The removal of organs is consistent with animal attack. Redacted of Redacted 2019. To whom it may concern, it is with great anger and regret that I tender my resignation as head of investigations for the Federal Bureau of Control. I do this in protest of the rampant disregard for my department's redacted. My staff cannot continue to work in these conditions. Previous requests and warnings have fallen on deaf ears, so I must now rely on my actions to speak louder than my words ever could. I blame this situation on our redacted, who has routinely ignored my requests for assistance in reclaiming the parts of investigation sector lost to the redacted loose inside. I will never forget the screams of brave agents begging for us to open that firebreak. I will carry that shame for the rest of my days. The redacted has failed his agents. I shall never forgive him for that. Sincerely, William Kirkland. So, the director. I'll open that in a second. Let's finish sort of looking around here. Mr. Dennis. So yes, there's an increase in AWE cases, and yes, it would be a good idea to put together a special task force to examine exactly why that is. However, it seems that a tiny little detail has slipped through the cracks. We don't have the damn staff. If you expect us to detect, investigate, and process more AWE cases, you need to give us more people. It's simple math. Between the staff we lost in the Hartman thing and the ones who left for other departments after Kirkland quit, we're barely managing to keep up with the workload. Hell, just filing the paperwork for all the altered items we left behind in the sector has been an ordeal. Another thing, this is going to sound paradoxical, but we have an overcrowding situation. This lobby isn't meant to accommodate a whole sector's worth of staff. We put forward a motion to move investigations to a more suitable location months ago. It better not still be sitting on your desk. The people are getting restless, and, as Kirkland's interim replacement, it's your job to handle it. Best regards, Agent Grayson. Chief Investigator Dennis. It happened again, third time this year. Something certainly has it out for our redacted. Could be raccoons. The locals certainly complain about them enough. But why the hell would raccoons keep going after a monitoring station? Doesn't add up. Anyway, I've got a bureau tech going to the site next week to take a look. Next on the list of recurring problems is the staff at the Lake House research station. How am I supposed to effectively keep an eye on Redacted Lake if they won't let me see any data? Hell, I don't even know what they're researching out there. We need to petition them again to share their info with investigations agents. It's only a matter of time before this redacted hits again, and I want to be prepared. Anyway, if anyone at HQ asks why the Bright Falls report is a little thin this month, tell them it's because we couldn't take any readings. In the meantime, I might invest in some raccoon traps. Sincerely, Agent Estevez. So... what's up here? Sector Head Office. Oh boy. There's so many things to find. Regarding Dr. Rhea Underhill. Hey, we know her. Dr. Rhea Underhill is a professor at the University of Woodrow in the United Kingdom, where she teaches biology with a focus on botany. Dr. Underhill once worked with the Bureau as a parabotanist stationed in the research sector of the oldest house. She served with no incidents or demerits and is praised by those who formerly worked with her, including Dr. Darling. Dr. Underhill has no known connections to paracriminal organizations or any record of breaching her NDAs since leaving the Bureau. Her civilian behavior has been ideal, with the exception of an ongoing personal relationship with Dr. Darling that appears to have begun during their time as co-workers in the research sector, and revisited intermittently ever since. Depending on the duration of her work in the oldest house, it may be required to have both parties sign a relationship clearance form. This investigation has found no compelling reason to deny Dr. Darling's request to offer Dr. Underhill an interim position with the aim of finding a solution to the mold threshold issue. Okay. Good, good. What's in the box? A shaded faucet. Paper. Oh my god, there's so much redaction here. Official findings regarding, internal confidential. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, was launched into the, of Director Zachariah Trench. A recent change in, witnessed in Director Trench, including aggressive, when, with other staff has been observed. However, this investigation is aimed at interpreting this issue rather than proving it. Notable, between Director Trench and Dr. Darling has been witnessed by numerous Bureau staff. Although both declined to meet for an interview on the matter, witness accounts suggest their arguments center around the Dimensional Research Wing and the, kept inside. However, no evidence exists to confirm Director Trench's, as anything more than interpersonal disagreements. This investigation has concluded that Director Trench's behavior is not indicative of any, and that his fitness to lead is not in question. Kirkland, I am growing tired of your blatant attempts to lay your incompetence at my doorstep. I know you want this to be true, but you are head of investigations. This failure is your responsibility. What did you think would happen holding a dangerous specimen in investigations? The containment sector exists for a reason. They are better trained and better equipped for this type of work. In fact, they have admirably taken on certain AWE monitoring responsibilities that your staff are no longer capable of. This happens more and more now. And don't think your petty internal investigations have gone past my notice. You are a worm. Everything I have done has been for the benefit of the Bureau. The Prime Candidate program only failed because of Darling. You are both failures, plotting against me. You are traitors, but the truth will emerge out of you. You are choosing to become my enemy, Kirkland. You don't want to be. Zachariah Trench, Director of the Federal Bureau of Control. You are a worm through time. The truth will emerge out of you. You wanted this. Mr. Kirkland, we stopped at Keystone on our way to the target AWE like you asked. I'm sending my report directly to you to try to keep a lid on this Grumman Morales desertion issue. We didn't find any sign of them here. Given their records, it is possible they've switched teams like you suspected, but I don't think that's the case. An event definitely occurred here in Keystone, and I think Grumman and Morales got caught up in it. The entire population has vanished into thin air. Reminds me of the Ordinary case, but that was just the adults, if I'm remembering the file correctly. This is different. I think our guys are casualties, not traitors. If it was an AWE, it seems to be over. We walked through the whole town, and the only strange thing we noticed were markings on various buildings. 2 overlapping circles with a dot in the shared space. Could be unrelated. I'll show you the pictures when I get back. In the meantime, you should send a team out here to cordon this place off and maybe get the comms guys working on a cover story. Sincerely, Agent Keenan. Okay. Bureau tractor. Item is not in Bureau custody. No known containment procedure. A Frank Elk tractor, olive green, dried blood on the grill when last seen. Item is capable of vocalized responses, or growls, and unmanned locomotion. Considered highly aggressive and dangerous. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after the death of William Burrow, owner of Bureau Farm outside of Trenton, Texas. Local authorities arrived on the scene after an employee found the mutilated body of Mr. Burrow beneath his tractor. Police arrived but were immediately driven away by the tractor. Panic calls to federal authorities were intercepted by Bureau communications staff. A team was dispatched. Upon arrival, the agents approached the item. It responded by growling like a bear. 3 agents were injured when they tried to detain the item, which escaped. Aerial searches for the item are ongoing. Speaking to Mrs. Bureau only revealed that she had a domestic altercation with Mr. Bureau earlier the night of the incident. Whether these events are connected is currently unknown. Fun. What's this file? The Prime Candidate Program. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation P1429 was launched into the legality of the Prime Candidate Program. You know, by the Federal Bureau of Control. Since all known subjects relevant to the investigation used executive privilege to decline interviews, very little first-hand information was gathered. However, anonymous sources and documentation declassified by Mr. Kirkland both paint an alarmingly clear picture of systemic redacted and redacted. Redacted were brought into the oldest house and placed under redacted examination and testing with the aim of appointing one as director upon maturity. This program has produced no successful cases and only resulted in the traumatic redacted of paranaturally inclined redacted. Not only is this in breach of the Ash Act, but it flies in the face of basic human redacted. This investigation team unequivocally redacted the Prime Candidate Program and recommends that it be redacted immediately. So let's see. The Prime Candidate Program operated by the Federal Bureau of Control, an alarming of systemic abuse and kidnapping. Children were brought into the oldest house and placed under paranatural examination. This program has produced no successful cases. It only resulted in the traumatic abuse of paranaturally inclined children. Flies in the face of basic human decency. Unequivocally shuns. No, that's not strong enough. Rejects and recommends that it be shut down immediately. I mean, like, yeah, did you see the sort of crap they were trying to make Dylan watch? Okay, so we can take this. Where's this power going? It's powering this light that is not working. Hey, come here. I just also want to be clear that these generators terrify the crap out of me.
There. Now that gate should open.
Oh, I didn't realize I needed to put power there for that reason. I just assumed I would need to put power somewhere. Yeah, I guess that would do it. Okay. Other people's files again. The purpose of internal investigation X0397 is to examine the containment failures of specimen SI-1 that resulted in the deaths of redacted agents. An inspection report of the containment equipment 3 days earlier showed no faults. Investigators suspect human error to be the cause, yet no department has provided any evidence to support this. Technicians were able to recover the researchers' notes on the specimen from the internal network. On the redacted of redacted, the specimen began displaying a sharp increase in aggressive redacted. Cross-referencing that date with various logs found only 2 events inconsistent with the sector's daily routine. 1, the air filters were changed, and 2, an hour prior to the incident, a civilian named Alice Redacted entered the sector regarding an unrelated investigation. Given their connection to the same AWE case, it is likely that Mrs. Redacted's presence is relevant to the specimen's escape and to the Redacted. Investigation is ongoing. Push button. Bhutan. Alright, well, let's claim this control point.
I'm no detective, but something definitely happened here.
You don't say. Paracriminal profile, the Blessed Organization. This group individual has operated outside of the Bureau's notice for decades, perhaps longer, displaying a level of skill and caution rarely seen in paracriminal groups. A review of past cases has found various mentions of their activity over the years. In 2016, a production company called Blessed Pictures was connected to an altered item case, as well as the death of an agent from exposure to illicit paranatural materials. In 1994, a Los Angeles-based public speaker named Chester Bless was involved in the illegal use of an altered item. In 1988, a business called Blessed Repair and Service was suspected of involvement with an object of power, perhaps even creating it. None of these businesses or individuals have ever been located. However, their connection to appearances of altered items and objects of power is too direct to be considered circumstantial. An arrest order has been issued for any persons believed to be involved with the Blessed Organization.
Do we know each other? This feels familiar. I can't seem to... I've forgotten it. I'm sorry. My name is Alan Wake. Who are you? Who are you? Do I know you?
I'm your friend Tom. Tom Zane.
You look the same,
Nothing to
though.
worry about.
Tom. The poet. The diver. You look different.
That was just a role, a character. The protagonist I played in my old film. I'm a filmmaker. An auteur like yourself. We're working on this together, remember? An artistic collaboration. You need a drink.
This is a lot.
Yep.
endless darkness. Nothing holds still.
But we're very close now. You've been riding. We found a way to escape. It'll work this time.
Riding?
You found a way!
No. I don't... Wait. There's something. It's my double. He's out there. I've seen
Yeah.
him.
Nothing to worry about. I'm dealing with it. It's fine, my friend. Let me handle him.
You've met him? What the hell?
Now, come on. You misunderstand me.
Uh-huh.
That was Alan Wake, the writer who went missing in that AWE case I read about. What's he doing here? And Thomas Zane was with him. The poet. No, wait. He was a filmmaker. I always remember that wrong.
Hmm.
Dr. Emil Hartman, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Broke loose, killed everyone it could, lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came, a resonance. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change.
All right.
Dr. Emil Hartman was desperate. The Federal Bureau of Control had stolen his life's work. This was his last chance, his final experiment. What he'd been too scared to do before. Hartman dove into the lake, was taken, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Only an echo of him remained, fragmented impulses on autoplay, violent, bloodthirsty darkness in the driver's seat. Emerging from the lake, the thing was captured by the FBC, brought in, contained, studied. The thing broke loose, killed everyone it could. The FBC fell back and sealed the sector. The thing was alone in the dark, lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came. Not darkness, but similar enough. A sound. A resonance. It shouldn't be a surprise. If there's one, why not another? The darkness inside the thing could have been immune, could have resisted, fought, could have been passed by, passed through with no effect. But it didn't, and it wasn't. Maybe it had grown weaker over time, not aged. It was timeless, but weaker with no link to its source. A metamorphosis followed. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change.
Cool. So that's going to be a problem, I imagine. Ooh. What are you doing down there, precious? Well, I guess I was probably supposed to go this way.
Creepy, damp, and abandoned. Why did Wake want me to come here?
Alright.
That doesn't look like a house shift. Do I even want to know?
Let's start by claiming our control point. I'm sure it's fine. What's in here? You, come with me. Can't go that way yet. Oh, there they are.
Of course, the hisser.
Of course.
Whoa. Looks like the house has gotten a little wild in here.
Hartman Emil. Victims. Alan Wake, Tor Anderson, Odin Anderson, Rudolph Lane, Wendy DeSole, and Thomas Emerson. Also 2 people that are redacted. Officers, Special Agent Remy Dennis. Charges, Code 4, kidnapping of altered individuals, 1. Code 8, sanctions against altered organizations, 1 count. Code 37, obstruction of Bureau investigation, 1 count. Code 74, breaching the Ash Act, 6 counts. Offender's property was seized as evidence to be used in conjunction with an ongoing AWE investigation. Offender's personal effects have been sent to research for analysis. After being cleared by Bureau researchers, all victims have been released. Biannual surveillance orders were issued to each except the Anderson brothers due to their senility, and Wake possibly deceased. Oh, what's in the box? My feet gossip at night, and I have to wear shoes to bed. Sincerely, me. Okay, so there's a service tunnel this way, and then there's whatever this nonsense is. Astral constructs? Finally. Okay. So we've got detonation grenades. Fun. Let's fast travel back to the sealed fire break. Like, it doesn't look like at the map like there's anything else to do, but I want to explore across the No, stop. Okay. We will go deal with this. Fast travel. Supposed to go to the warehouse. Let's go to the upper warehouse. I thought there was an upper warehouse. Upper warehouse. See if we can find these guys this way. No? Oh! Come on! I got robbed there. Boo. Boo, I say. I hit fly, and it just didn't. Okay. Through the fire break. There we go. Okay, I was like, is there actually something down there? Or is that just where my grenade went? Just where the grenade went. I gotta know. Yeah, yep. Grenade still hurts Jesse. Alright, well, I want to go through Crazy Hallway first, so let's do this. I don't even know if I can go through Crazy Hallway. You're in the way. Please go away. Oh. Boo. Boo, I say. Alright. Guess we go through the access tunnel. Service tunnel. Whatever. Boring. Here's a powerful source of light.
This darkness is blocking the door, so now I have to deal with an interdimensional noise. Light burns it away, huh? Makes sense.
Oh god, can't see.
There you go. Doesn't that feel better?
Oh boy. I mean, I guess. Oh, gross, gross. Was that it? Okay. Sure. Weird. Why is it all gotta be so dark all the time? Why don't you come with me? Filing and processing, Firebreak, Operations Center, active investigations. Can I talk to this plant?
Welcome back to the land of the living. Little
Oh,
buddy.
you can put light on it! Nice. Okay, keep an eye out for plants. We have to save them. There's one. Alright, we need to keep an eye out for plants that need love. Oh boy. Why has it gotta be dark?
The third thing. The sound made darker, the darkness made louder. Hartman was stretched, like a worm through time. The third thing was a monster. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Phaeton.
Dude, what?
Reminder, all employees are required to report their hours at the end of each month. The Federal Bureau of Control maintains that time is not subjective, and hours passed on alternative claims cannot be claimed. Astral dives do not accumulate overtime compensation. Thank you for your attention.
Wow. Awful.
The resonance carves its way through the thing that had been Hartman, vibrating, remolding. The sound changes the darkness, and the darkness changes the sound. They both changed what remained of Hartman. They all turned into something else. A third thing. The sound made darker. The darkness made louder. Hartman was stretched. Stretched as anyone when seen from out of time, like a worm through time. Almost an Ouroboros, a spiral, a maelstrom. The gravity well of a black hole, twisting inward, tightening, taking you deeper and deeper to the bottom, the heart, and through to the other side. The third thing said, when you hear this, you will know you're in new you. He said, we build you till nothing remains. He said, under the conceptual reality, behind this reality, you must want these ways to drag you away. He said, baby, 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 yeah, orange peel. The third thing was a monster. He'd tear apart any ordinary person crossing his path. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Faden. There was nothing ordinary about Faden.
I have concerns. I need that flashlight, I think.
Agent Fisher, day 6 inside the motel. Utilized surveillance methods are as follows. Fiber optic cameras slid under the individual room doors. Motion detectors in the lobby area. Tripwire, triggering a flash camera across the main entrance. Even fingerprint powder on the front desk. Results are varying at best. But mostly just inconclusive and unusable. The footage is corrupted. Sometimes even the equipment is damaged. I don't know how, exactly. I think this place is making fun of me. That's the only explanation. I can hear them laughing and screaming behind the closed doors. I can hear the call bell go and ding multiple times a day, but when I look, there's no one there. I know I'm supposed to stay out of sight, but I've seen the doors closing just before I can catch even a glimpse of anyone or anything. They're messing with me, whoever they are. I think... Wait, shh. There's something. I gotta get this. Gotta get the cable out. Come on, you fiber optic fuck, cooperate. Okay, there we go. Alright, that was faint, but I definitely heard movement coming from the hallway. I think I might have finally caught one. Ha! The recording better work this time or I swear to God I'll... What? Hello? Who's there? Oh, shit. I'm with the FBC. Move away from the door. I have a... Where's my...
Was that it?
Agent Fisher, A6 inside the motel. Utilized surveillance methods are as follows. Fiber optic cameras slid under the individual room doors. Motion detectors in the lobby area. Tripwire, triggering a flash camera across the main entrance. Even fingerprint powder on the front desk. Results are varying at best. But mostly just... inconclusive and unusable. The footage is corrupted. Sometimes even the equipment is damaged. I don't know how, exactly. I think this place is making fun of me. That's the only explanation. I can hear them laughing and screaming behind the closed doors. I can hear the call bell go and ding multiple times a day, but when I look, there's no one there. I know I'm supposed to stay out of sight, but I've seen the doors closing just before I can catch even a glimpse of anyone or anything. They're messing with me, whoever they are. I think... Wait, shh. There's something. I gotta get this. Gotta get the cable out. Come on, you fiber optic fuck, cooperate. Okay, there we go. recording better work this time, or I swear to God I'll... What? Hello? Who's there? Oh, shit. I'm with the FBC. Move away from the door. I have a... Where's my...
Okay, so it did end there. No! Flashlight friend, come back. Alright, so we came down those stairs. Kirkland. So you put me on desk duty just because I did the thing I was fucking hired to do, my job? Want to know what I call that? Bullshit. Asking us to interrogate these scum without using words like altered items or AWEs or paracriminal is the stupidest thing I've heard in my life, and I've heard some fucking stupid things. They already know the facts. Hell, they know just as much as us, if not more, and they get to sit there laughing at us while we dance around our words, trying not to leak classified terminology. They already know the fucking terminology. If you think pulling me off the case will stop me, then think again. That piece of shit blew up those tracks. He killed those people, all to make a train turn altered. We have him dead to rights, and you need to let me back in that interrogation cell so I can get him to flip on his buddies. These people are terrorists and deserve to be treated as such. This won't stop unless we stop them. You go ahead and put me on suspension. See if that slows me down. Agent Hewitt. Agent Hewitt. Way to go on being a jackbooted thug. Okay. Put you down. A black market hub specializing in the trade of occult talismans, relics, and other assorted ceremonial objects, as well as genuine altered and paranatural materials, was raided in redacted Czech Republic by a team of special investigators. Unsuccessful attempts by suspects to escape using altered items resulted in numerous casualties and prevented the Bureau from questioning all participants. The following interrogations revealed that not only is there a vast network of these retailers, but that they seem to be gathering information on altered items and other paranatural materials from sources unknown to the Bureau. The Bureau's concerns here is threefold. There's a growing underground market for paranatural materials, which implies a growing awareness of their existence among a niche group of the general public. These criminal individuals do not seem aware of the item's paranatural powers, and their attempts to activate them could prove devastating if done in populated areas. The motivations of these collectors are largely unknown. Flashlight friend, come with me. Interagency Cooperation Decision. NASA. Following the NASA-FBC Coordination Agreement of 1972, the Bureau has provided NASA with numerous technological advancements based on our research, including the black rock lining now found in all spacefaring vessels. In return, all data gathered during space missions is made available for Bureau researchers to analyze. Recently, certain individuals have raised the concern that this relationship does not adequately benefit the Bureau, either intellectually or financially. A thorough examination of the costs accrued by both organizations has shown that the expense of NASA's recent launch of the Redacted far outweighs any spending related to the processing and delivery of black rock from its medium Earth orbit. From its medium Earth orbit, the Redacted will provide the Bureau with an unparalleled resource for remotely monitoring and photographing AWE sites, a resource that would be lost if the partnership ends. It is the opinion of this committee that maintaining a cooperative relationship with our colleagues at NASA is of vital importance. Yeah, guess what? Putting stuff in space is expensive, guys. Okay, door locked. Ati's left jobs for me.
Lads in here have died standing up. Lighten them up. The air in here is getting bad. The vents they are full of city. It's not food for you. Headache, nausea, moodland, depression. Darkness everywhere. New day, same old bloody city, said the old place. Like dark but good for nothing. Get rid of it.
Hey, look. It's us. Oh. Battery. Where'd my battery go? Come here. I don't know what putting the battery in there did for me. Like, what is this powering? Oh, I guess... Oh, the hall lights? Okay, fair enough. Yep, you're right. Paranatural A-010, the Shadow, is an aggressive redacted consisting of three known types. Type A, localized manifestation of sentient redacted capable of occupying organic and inorganic material as well as exerting redacted over its surroundings. Type B, shaded individuals, human bodies redacted by the Shadow. These individuals become notably more aggressive, but do seem to retain redacted of their previous selves. Research is ongoing as to whether this condition is reversible. Type C, shaded objects similar to Type B, except that inanimate objects are redacted solely to be used as destructive tools. Each type seems to work towards a shared goal, possibly targeting certain individuals, which may imply a shared link to a redacted intelligence. The threat this entity poses warrants immediate exploration of offensive defensive measures. The investigation sector is being outfitted with additional lighting sources, some internally powered, to prepare for the eventuality of an redacted.
My understanding of the darkness is fragmented, incomplete. This abyss, this void, it very much does not wish to be understood. If light symbolizes knowledge, then it stands to reason that darkness equate to ignorance. By its very nature, it abhors comprehension. Of course, my own nature drives me to comprehend all. We are opposing forces, destined to collide. And given this conflict of natures, we know that the light of truth will burn away the darkness, both figuratively and literally. Any significant light source can be used as protection, even weaponry, against this metaphysical gloom. And then there are the artists. I know for a fact that Tom, Wake, the Anderson brothers, and Lane all had some involvement with the darkness. The question is whether their uncanny ability to affect reality through their art beckons the darkness, or did their work perhaps even create it? With Wake now secure in my lodge, I expect I shall grow closer to learning the answers to these questions. Assuming he cooperates, which is proving quite the challenge. Well, perseverance is the foundation of knowledge. Speaking of, I must be off on my rounds.
Alright, let's throw the switch. Let's turn on the lights. Oh boy. Okay. You! Did I get him? No, there's still some alive somewhere. I was curious if that would work. Just stick a grenade on the thing that you want to throw, and then throw it. Okay. Well, that was fun. Hiss Ranger Airborne. This subgroup of Hiss corrupted Rangers has manifested the ability to levitate, similar to Hiss elevated agents. However, these airborne Hiss Rangers display no telekinetic abilities and simply continue to use mundane Bureau weaponry. This evolution, being so similar to the elevated, possibly indicates that Hiss can share permutations through a type of network or perhaps osmosis. However, the fact that this development in Hiss Rangers has only been observed in the investigation sector may indicate that an environmental factor is responsible. They could be responding to an altered item or other paranatural element found only in that sector, or perhaps this is the natural progression of the Hiss Ranger phenotype. Not enough time has passed to determine a conclusive trajectory of development for each of the Hiss manifestations, assuming any such trajectory exists. The Eagle Limited, AWE-44, a train derailment resulting in 62 casualties and numerous injuries, was suspected to have been the work of a paracriminal group known as Redacted. As a result of this event, the agents discovered that one of the cars had become altered with a persistent auditory event. It remains to be determined whether the AWE was spontaneous or the direct result of sabotage. The Bureau has been tracking said group at the time, and the intel gathered suggested an event of this caliber was imminent in Bloomington. As a result, the response team on site was able to respond to the train accident site within minutes of its occurrence. They arrived to find emergency processes underway, but also equipment left behind by the suspected group. A suspicious onlooker managed to elude agents after they attempted to make contact. Further investigation of the accident site revealed a curiously undamaged train car that exhibited an altered state when entered. This individual car was secured and transported to the investigation sector for further study. Okay, so this door is now accessible. Oh, nice. Control point. Trench. Okay. Go to the cave system and deal with hiss nodes. Fine. Cave system. Boop. Let's go deal with hiss nodes in the cave system. Okay. That was BS. Okay. Don't use the grenade launcher without knowing exactly what you're doing, Ken. Active investigations is where we're going. Actually, we've been going an hour and a half. Let's take a break. Go hit the bathroom if you need to hit the bathroom. Get some water. Be right back. return. I'm very annoyed by the fact that I can't seem to clear some of these challenges. Oh boy. That was...
I don't feel right. Something in this darkness is draining me.
Okay, well, let's just not go into the darkness.
Shit. Now what? What is that?
Come on, elevator, time to go.
So you don't like the light. What is that?
Oh, there's one. What's in the box? I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's read some documents. Night Springs screenplay, page 1. Note, the screenplay was found after the Bureau acquired the Night Springs television series and all its past episode scripts. It appears to be written by Alan Wake as part of an application to become one of the show's writers. Over the Threshold darkly. It is only human nature to wish to control the forces around us, and to even more so to possess them. But what happens when those forces are not ours to claim, or even of this world? What if they are the things you can discover in Night Springs? Interior Secret Lab, night. We are in a secret lab. The large sign on the wall reads, The Federal Bureau of Night Springs. Scientist, I've told you several times, Director, it isn't ready. Director, it's ready when I say it is, Doctor. Scientist, but the being beyond the portal, we have no control over it. Okay. Let's just grab 3 of these. Come on. Come on. Ooh, there's levers. Regarding Dr. Emil Hartman. Dr. Emil Hartman is an academic psychotherapist that owned and operated a recovery center in redacted Washington focused on the treatment of artists struggling with their creative blocks and other mental disorders. Publicly, Dr. Hartman's treatment center seemed unremarkable in its methods and purpose. Privately, however, Dr. Hartman was abusing his patients in order to utilize any latent para-utilitarian abilities they may possess with the aim of shaping the darkness to his own benefit, I assume. Which has earned him a Class 2 paracriminal designation. Note, for more on the link between artists and their ability to affect reality through artistic mediums, see file. Investigation has proven that Dr. Hartman's illegal endeavors were conducted alone. After being approached by the Bureau during the redacted investigation, he displayed no remorse or intention to cease his actions. Dr. Hartman was taken into custody, evaluated, and released, redacted months later, having been deemed a negligible threat. His medical license has been permanently revoked. I mean, throw lever? Bye.
How do you like that?
Okay. Let's look around. That is a file. How dare you put files on shelves? There's also something up there. Why would you do this to me?
Okay, this room is really intimidating and all, but I know my rights. It's not a crime to try and get a book signed.
Making unauthorized contact with a dangerous paranatural entity is indeed a Bureau offense, Mr. Langston, and can be prosecuted as such.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Listen, this is being blown way out of proportion. All that happened is I heard Dr. Hartman had been brought in, and since I'm a huge Alan Wake fan, I thought it'd be cool to get a copy of The Creator's Dilemma signed. That's a book that Hartman wrote about.
We know what it is.
Okay, good. So yeah, I was just looking to fill out my Wake collection. I certainly didn't know Hartman had turned into some kind of shadow zombie.
That's a completely inaccurate description.
Whatever, listen, I'm just a desk jockey. I sort papers, do data entry, that kind of stuff. Don't come down on me like this. I made one mistake. I mean, I see people break the rules all the time and no one is pulling them into dark rooms to yell at them. Yesterday, Dave Gleason and his crew were talking to that empty spacesuit and laughing their heads off.
We're letting you off with a warning, Mr. Langston. But this is going on your record, so one more screw-up and our next chat won't be so friendly.
Great. That is just great to hear, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, is there any chance I could get my copy of The Creator's Dilemma back?
Get out.
Langston. Vending machine. Altered item 81. No containment procedure known. Testing and investigations is ongoing. A vending machine, its front covered in a faux wood panel, coin-operated, buttons for selecting food products. The item generates and stores a variety of materials, both edible and otherwise, in its rows of internal trays. Initial testing suggests the item reacts to the mind of the individual in closest proximity and will produce whatever they subconsciously desire. Attempts to cause the item to create a living redacted have consistently failed. The item was discovered in a nursing home in Redacted, Alberta, after a resident named Muriel, Redacted, called a local news station about a magic vending machine. The news story reported that the nursing home staff was purposely stocking the machine with distinctive food and objects as a way to raise the residents' spirits. The Bureau response team encouraged this story while confiscating the item. Door appearance. An excursion into the Ocean View Motel and Casino discovered a previously unseen door in the lobby hallway. This door featured a spiral-shaped marking designation, door, spiral, Similar to the other doors, it is locked and cannot be forced open. Alice Wake, a person of interest in the Bright Falls AWE, referred to AWE 35, and the former wife of missing author Alan Wake, a suspected para-utilitarian and redacted, contacted agents Shaw and Dempsey of the investigation sector using the phone number given to her in 2010 in accordance with civilian outreach protocols. The call resulted in Mrs. Wake being brought into the oldest house for an in-person interview. For a full transcript, refer to file blah 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 on redacted 2017. The excursion into Ocean View Motel occurred later that same day. Determining whether this was a basic synchronicity event, if Alice Wake is responsible for its appearance, or if the door itself relates to AWE 35 is paramount. She should be returned to the oldest house, possibly even taken into the motel itself, to confirm if any other changes occur. Neat. Anything over here? Okay, we went through this room. Don't turn around.
Arcade machines. Shoom. Shim? Whatever.
Okay, well, I mean, we're gonna do that, right? Not an evil vending machine. Okay. Oh, okay. Join the winning team, please. I think I might need some help. Oh, you. You. My team. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Oh, okay. Nothing in the bathroom. Okay. Oh boy. That hurt. Okay, we can try that again and be a little bit more circumspect. Hopefully. Oh, let's change off of this to a gun that we actually want to use. Sorry about that. Alright, having this guy on my team will hopefully help a lot. Get this guy on my team. I would have liked to have gotten that on my side. This arcade game's wild. Seize is such a useful ability. Yeah, get on my team. Get this on my side, that'll help. Alright, we're like halfway through. My side. Oh, there's a Healy ball somewhere. My side, my side. Oh, there's another one. No, come back. If I can get two of you on my side, will you keep each other alive forever? I am busy. Oh, come on! Shoom. I have to complete one or the other? What's the other one? Elite 50 enemies. My team, please. Where are the enemies? Getting there. Got there. This is Control, and it is awesome. I just finished Deadline in Shoe.
Aliens are so realistic these days.
Yeah, Jesse. They're sure realistic. Okay, do I have to do the other one? Doesn't look like it. Case files. Arcade cabinet supplement. Shum arcade cabinets. Altered item 40. Both items were purchased from a closing arcade in Redacted, Michigan as part of a program to improve employee well-being through recreation. The program was canceled before any game machines were dispersed throughout the oldest house, but not before these altered items were discovered. Teams in the research sector have voiced considerable interest in the items due to the fact that they only exhibit an altered effect when physically paired together, a codependent relationship previously unseen in altered items. See research specialist Pope's paper entitled The Parasensitivity of Sequels for more information. Oh yeah, telekinesis and guns. However, after proving the item's altered status, the investigation staff insisted on keeping them, claiming that they are important for sector morale. To date, numerous petitions have been filed by research sector personnel to move the items there for more extensive analysis. You guys kept the arcade machines. Seriously? Oh my goodness. Yes. Don't need that. The other one's not even plugged in. Ooh. Wait. Oh. Okay. We can refight bosses that we've already fought, and we can redo the ashtray maze. That is the coolest thing ever. Oh boy. No, we are the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. You've missed a lot. We're on the last DLC now, so it's a lot harder. We are inside the Federal Bureau of Control, which is a hidden government branch that deals with altered items and paranatural stuff. Jessie had to break in here so that she could try to find out what they'd done with her brother Dylan when they were children. And she found the service weapon on the floor next to the previous director who'd blown his brains out because the entire oldest house, the facility in New York where they operate, has been overrun by the Hiss, which are those red guys. Ooh, Deadline challenge. We'll come back. We'll come back. There will be more Shum. But yeah, we're now figuring out what Alan Wake may or may not have to do with some stuff that's going on here because he's sending us messages.
What are you doing in investigations?
Jesus, don't scare me like that, Langston.
If you're talking right now, I can't hear you.
Oh.
It's a one-way system. Try to find an intercom.
Oh my God, Langston, I'm going to slap you.
Langston, it's me, Jessie.
I know. I can see you on the monitors. The cameras in there haven't worked since we sealed that sector off a couple years back.
Oh my
Let
gosh.
me guess. You sealed it because of the monster guy.
Wait, did you see Dr. Hartman? Jesus, I really wish you hadn't opened that fire break. Okay, listen, you need to find Hartman and kill him before he gets out into the Bureau.
That thing is a person?
He was a person. We brought him here to study after he was, altered in an AWE. I forget the medical word for what happened, but now light physically hurts him. Do you have a flashlight?
No.
A lantern? Headlamp? Oh, yeah, flare gun. Oh, Christmas lights. You could wrap them around your...
I don't have any of those, Langston.
Shit. Okay, well, I'm sure you'll think of something. I'll keep an eye on you from the Panopticon. This is kind of exciting, right?
Maybe from where you're standing.
Right. Okay. Well, break a leg. Oh, why did I say that?
I don't know, Langston.
Hartman thing can't have gotten very far. Let's go flush him out. Langston was right. This is kind of exciting.
It's nice to have someone to talk to, you know?
Are you talking?
Ever since I got put in charge of the Panopticon, people treat me different.
I love this game.
Crazy for wanting to work
I love it so much because the storytelling is so
understand
great.
the altered items like I do, you know? I don't want to brag, but it does take a very empathetic mind to connect with the items.
Doesn't
Still,
want
I don't
to
know why
brag.
people are making it so personal.
Right.
I mean, the teams in research handle paranatural materials every day, and no one thinks they're weird. Well, maybe that's not true. Darling is famous for being a bit out there, but when he's weird, it's charming. Altered items really aren't that frightening once you get to know them. If you figure out what they like or don't like, you know, what sets them off, then there's nothing to worry about. I guess at the end of the day, we're still just wild animals scared of our own shadows.
Oh my
We're supposed
God.
to be on the same team, but sometimes it feels like it's every department for themselves, like it's a race and we're all trying to be number one. If it is a race, though, I'd say Darling is a mile ahead of everyone else.
Well,
He was
Darling's-
Golden Boy for years, but that relationship has gotten pretty tense, or so I've heard through the grapevine. Not that I spread rumors, just, you know, people talk. Not me, though. I keep my nose to the grind. Too much work to do to focus on those kinds of things. I need to stay focused so I can get my work done and get home to feed Alfred.
He's
Of course,
just gonna talk forever,
can't always
isn't
make
he?
it home for mealtime, so I have my neighbor check in on Alfred at 7 o'clock if I'm not back yet. She's very nice. Her name is Maria. She's older. She came to New York in the 50s to attend school and has been here ever since. She has a couple of kids. I met them at Thanksgiving. Big family. Very nice people. Anyway, she has
Like-
to my apartment and she gives Alfred his dinner if I'm not home. I'm gonna have to buy her a nice fruit arrangement as a thank you after this. I'm missing a lot of Alfred's meal times. She's probably gonna have to go to the store for more wet food. I'll have to remember to pay her back. Hold on, let me make a note. Pay back
Oh my God, Langston!
for Alfred's food.
Langston.
Okay. Oh, one more thing. And buy her a
Why am I still here?
ring.
Why am I listening to him?
All right, done. Are you a cat person? I don't think I ever asked. You seem like one, though. You'd like Alfred. He's very
I don't know. Do you think she's a cat person?
himself well, you know? I named him after my favorite poet. Felt like a good fit. I got Alfred just before Sylvia died when I was at the... You know, I don't really remember where I got Alfred from. But, boy, those two did
He's
not
still talking.
get along. Oh, no. Sylvia thought she owned the place. Didn't like me getting in her way. Scratched me more than once when I was just trying to move her food bowl. That cat was a real asshole.
Wow.
I'm realizing now that language
That's kinda
was not
harsh.
entirely,
It's hilarious is what it is.
tolerate most people.
But this is what I like about this game. They just do stuff like this and they like, yeah, whatever.
When I said asshole, I would never use that word about a person. It was just, you know, hey, there's a light flashing on the console here. I got to check this out. I'll get back to you later.
Real smooth, Langston.
Oh, Langston. Aha! Trying to hide stuff from me, game. Okay, well, we know that we want to go to Bright Falls, but it's currently locked. So, Framaro or Eagle Limited. The train or... I'm not sure what this is. Always go left. Yeah, Kirk, what you missed with this is that yesterday I finished up the other DLC, The Foundation, and I became one of the... I became a friend of the cats, and they let me wear cat ears now to prove that I'm one of them. And I have the golden suit because I'm incredibly lucky. Oh, wait, no, I saw you. Wait, I saw that. How do I get that? Sorry, I went the other way. You took too long. I mean, I suppose I could turn around. But I mean, like, this will also be good, right? We're gonna have to do them both eventually. Cool. Hey, stop launching grenades. It's rude. Ah! No. Oops. Ugh. Wow. Okay, I need to be a little smarter about that approach then. I have a solution. Dodge this. Missed. Hey. Oh, I can't go back. Lame. What? What happened? I don't understand. I don't understand what just happened there. Just line it up. One down. Okay. Dang. Find some cover here. You! Join the winning team. Yes. I didn't want to hit melee. Alright, I see you. Okay, he's over here. You also join the winning team. Thank you. Catch. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. Oh, I need that health. Dash, dash. I'm still in trouble. Excuse me, sirs. Did you die? Oh, good. Good, good, good. No, 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 no. No flying. No flying. That's my shtick. Get your own shtick. You, go away. All right. Is that it? Are we good now? Thank you. Okay. AWE Transit Bay. Can't go that way. Cool. What do we got in here? Containment. I'm not going to the Foundation. Oh, trying to hide treasure boxes. Aw, sorry, buddy. Alright. Staircase. Why are you hiding the staircase? Oh, because the door's locked. Alright, alright. Flashlight. What's in the box? Okay. Okay, Hartman. Where are you? I hear you thumping around out there. What's in the box? Oh no, there's a thing right over there. Okay, okay. Get all this out of my way. Oh, it's on the other side of that fence. I need a flashlight. I haven't seen one, though. Oh, that is the flashlight, isn't it? I can pick that up. Okay, okay. Alright. That makes more sense. Come with me. Hartman. I found you a present. You creepy bastard. You come with me. Everything's fine. Oh, good. Ranger station. Somehow get a magic ranger here. How did you get here? How? How? No. I had to fly across a fire break. How did you get here? These people. Okay. Okay, cool. Get away. Oh! I got hung up on a box. Alright. Alright. Send me a new ranger.
Dr. Faden here. Send backup to my location.
How? How? Excuse me, coming through. Nope. Oh, God. Get out of there, Jesse. Okay. It's gonna be okay. No, I need you. Yes, get on my team. My team, my team. Haha! Perfect. Now we're fine. Are you alive in there, Ranger? Did you die? I think my ranger died. Ugh. That's unfortunate for him. Let's go get another one. Oh, we can't get another one. So he must still be alive in here somewhere. Ranger? Treasure. Anything back here? Doesn't appear to be. That's just a wall. Where am I going in here? That way? Oh, here we go. Can I do something with this? No. Network disconnected. Cool. Flashlight. I'm real good at this. Can't you tell? Alright. Alright, I guess that's the way it has to be. Ah, flashlight, yes. Come with me. Darkness, you're not supposed to be in here.
Alright, Ahti. Was this what you had in mind?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing you've completely missed out on, Kirk, is all of Ahti. And Ahti's the best. We're his assistant. He's the janitor. Come on. Now I have 2 flashlights. Now what's up? I didn't want to throw them. Oh boy.
Damn it.
Mold monsters? You're not supposed to be down here. Alright. Let's see. Mold. There's 1 piece and 2 pieces, 3 pieces. Alright, we dealt with the mold room. Screenplay page 2. The robust director shoves the nerd-like scientist aside and heads for the portal control panel. He slams the on button with a determined fist. Director. All the more reason. The entire screen is filled with dangerous red. Then it fades away and we see that the 2 men are in another dimension. The air ripples around them as if they were a 1983 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am sitting in the Texas sun after a 5-day road trip. Interior, unknown dimension, night. What have you done? You've doomed us. Control yourself, Doctor. Where's this beast of yours? Right there, sir. A horrible, shapeless, shifting entity fills the horizon. It can't be described. That's how horrible it is. What a thing of beauty you've been keeping from me. Brain missing. To the good-for-nothings at the security check. I know you took a part of my brain when you put me through that metal detector. I'm not stupid. I know what they're really for. What I don't know is whether taking a part of my brain causes me to lose my memories or to lose sleep. I've been told if you lose sleep, you lose everything else too. That's where you trick us regular people. Now, I don't know which it is, and I can't remember what you did to me, but I can tell you all this much. I don't find this funny at all. I want my memories back, and you can be sure the next time I visit the Baltimore-Washington International Thurgood Marshall Airport, I will come and find you and make you fix what you broke. Sincerely, I don't think I will be signing this with my real name. Like I said, I'm not stupid. You can just mind your own business. Oh, dead letters. Oh, dead letters, I love you so much. Alright, I need... What's in the box? Okay, you. Now, that might be the way I'm supposed to go, but I really couldn't help but notice over here that this appears to be glass windows. Show is where? No, I need you. Come back. This is a bad idea. Okay, so that opens that. Okay, interesting. Yes, give me that flashlight too. It's nice that the oldest house fixes everything I break. It broke my flashlights. That's just rude.
Christ. Did the Hartman thing do all this?
Oh boy, it's gonna be a puzzle. Okay. One there. There. Allow me to gain access to... Okay. Yeah, it is 3. Blue opens the treasure boxes, so let's get treasure. That one's white. Oh, white just... Yeah. Get this treasure. No, 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 no. Ah, and then yellow for the rest. What's on the tape recording?
Reminder, the law of three also applies to all faucets within the oldest house. Be mindful and don't cause any aquatic misconduct. Thank you for your attention. You come with me. Now, do I get my flashlight back? Or is it gone forever? Control point. Claim the control point. Press the button. God, the style of this game. Okay. Oh, great.
Lots of dark corners to hide in. Okay, let's get the lights on and clear him out.
Okay, well, we're moving the train car. Treasure box. Excuse you. Yeah, stay out of my light sources. Where? Go away, dude.
Where's it running off to now?
Yeah, we'll go after him in a bit.
All aboard?
Yeah, alright, all aboard.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Eagle Limited bound for Chicago. Please have your tickets ready and enjoy the ride.
Good evening, all you fine-looking folks. Here's some smooth tunes to ease your minds and please your ears as we wait for that delicious dinner to roll right on in.
Next stops, Alton, Carlinville, and Springfield. That's Alton, Carlinville, and Springfield. Tickets, please. Tickets. Oh my God! Fire! Fire! Everyone, stay in your seats. In your seats. Nothing to sir. Sit down. Go. Everyone, hold on.
So probably try to play all of this in order. So it would be tickets, please.
Next stops, Alton, Carlinville, and Springfield. That's Alton, Carlinville, and Springfield. Tickets, please. Tickets.
Good
Welcome aboard.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Eagle Limited bound for Chicago. Please have your tickets ready and enjoy the ride.
Good evening, all you fine-looking folks.
Oh no, it's probably this one.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Eagle Limited bound for Chicago. Please have your tickets ready and enjoy the ride.
Carlinville, and Springfield. Tickets, please. Tickets.
Well, that was
Let me-
chaotic.
Felt like it was trying to tell me something. I wonder if I can make sense of it.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Eagle Limited bound for Chicago. Please have your tickets ready and enjoy the ride.
Next stops, Alton, Carlinville, and Springfield. That's Alton, Carlinville, and Springfield. Tickets, please. Tickets.
Good evening, all you fine-looking folks. Here's some smooth tunes to ease your minds and please your ears as we wait for that delicious dinner to roll right on in.
Oh my God! Fire! Fire! Everyone, stay in your seats. In your seats. Nothing to sir. Sit down. Go. Everyone, hold on.
Was that right? Apparently that was right.
Excuse me, ma'am. Do you have a ticket?
You had a pretty dark ride, huh? But I hope you're done replaying it now.
Alright. Train car procedure. The item's altered effect can be avoided by simply not entering it. Proper signage and barriers should provide sufficient containment. The item is currently held in the Investigation Sector AWE West hangar for ongoing investigations. The item's exterior is that of a standard CZ-10 Vistadome train car, the largest known altered item on record. Its interior seems to be an adjacent reality related to a trauma or memory belonging to a redacted and not the physical item's own history. Causation of this link is still to be determined, but possibilities include the outside interference possibly responsible for the item's altered state or trauma imprinting via a shared memory states. The item was discovered when the Bureau responded to a suspected crime scene in Bloomington, Illinois. The item was identified as an altered item and transported to the Bureau for examination and testing. Okay, so I also got a weapon mod. One-way track. Ooh. No spread. No spread shotgun? That sounds cool. Alright, let's finish investigating this area, and then we'll probably call it a stream there. Like, we know that Hartman went that way, but whatever. Hartman sucks.
Agent Guthrie, interrogation 4C pertaining to the Eagle Limited incident and its subsequent, state alteration.
Look, buddy, I have no clue what you're talking about.
So you deny being a part of a radical group aiming to affect inanimate objects in a manner that would yield unusual results?
Yeah, I deny. But hey, tell me more about these results. They sound real unusual.
I'm sure you recognize that the measures this group of yours takes to achieve their goals can be considered acts of terrorism.
Goals? Measures? You're being very vague. Did you know you're being very vague?
All right, 62 dead. Passengers and crew, innocent people. Still sound vague to you?
You might as well stop wasting both our time. I won't say anything, and you can't say anything. I know you can't.
Tell you what I can do. I can throw your sorry ass in one of our cozy containment cells. You can rot there until you're ready to talk. Or you could just save us both the trouble and tell me all about how you're going around creating altered items. How's that sound? Did you really think we wouldn't catch on to you? We always do. Always. So you might as well come clean. For your sake.
I think I'll just talk to my lawyer instead.
That's not how it works around here, buddy. But tell you what. Why don't I leave you here to think on it for a while? See you in a couple of days.
Wait.
Health pickups. I need those. Anything worthwhile around here? Doesn't appear to be. There's an entire catwalk up there. There's nothing. It's on the other side. Of course it's on the other side. Flashlight. Go away. I know I saw the blinky lights over here. Am I crazy? Did I not see blinky lights? Darkness! Darkness, where are you? Nope, not down there. How do I get in there? Ow. Like, there's clearly a file in there. How do I get in there? Like, it's pointing at a file. Oh, there's an elevator. I can look. Shh. What's in the box? Alright. The Eagle Limited. The Bureau has gathered concrete evidence that the train derailment was in fact the work of the paracriminal group known as Redacted, which according to the Bureau's intel has shown a concerning interest in experimenting with the artificial manufacturing of altered materials. Knowing the group largely operates in the American Midwest, the Bureau worked alongside the FBI to ascertain their movements and rendezvous locations. This cooperation provided agents with information that led to an arrest in conjunction with the AWE case. Under suspicion of involvement, Redacted was brought in for questioning. Interrogation performed by Agent Redacted resulted in the suspect being kept in a holding cell for 2 days without food, in breach of the Paracriminal Rights Act. Afterwards, the suspect confessed to his involvement in the redacted group and provided information on other members in exchange for his freedom, which is not useful because, for all you know, he lied to you, told you what you wanted to hear so that you'd let him go, because torture doesn't work. Okay, so somewhere around here is going to be a pocket of darkness that I can't see. Because, you know, being darkness. Oh, I see. I see. The walkway stops there. Come on. Jesse, come on. Alright, let's go get a light source and then go back over there and see if it's in that corner. Gotta make Ahti happy. He's the only one who I want to please. Director Faden. Why is there an astral spike here? Shaded specimen captured. An alert from the redacted Washington monitoring station indicated minor redacted activity occurring in the area. Agent Estevez was dispatched to investigate. Inside the redacted lodge, she discovered the facility's former owner, Dr. Emil Hartman. He had been converted into a shaded individual per definitions found in Blah, and displayed violent behavior characteristics of its type. Agent Estevez alerted the on-site research team to the specimen's presence, and with some difficulty, it was successfully contained in a black rock cell. The cell and its inhabitant were transported safely back to HQ, where the specimen remains detained in the redacted sector as part of the redacted AWE investigation. Once the investigation is closed, research teams have petitioned to relocate this specimen to their sector for study. I mean, yeah. Where'd my flashlight go? Come back here. Oh boy. All of that for that? It did not seem like it was worth it. No, I want the flashlight, please. Thank you. Sometimes. Hey Stu, did you hear about Fisher? Got himself in trouble in the motel. Why the hell does anyone volunteer to stake out that place? Gives me the creeps. But hey, at least he came back, if you can call it that. I saw some of the footage they pulled out of there with him. Tom down in evidence processing showed me. Crazy stuff. Fisher had the cameras pointed at himself half the time. I'm guessing he went nuts on day one. He did catch something though. Got one of those fiber optic cameras under the door of the room he was hiding in and recorded something out in the hall. Looked like a shadow, maybe human. Tom tried to get the quality up, but it's still blurry as fuck. Just reaffirms my position. Stay the fuck out of the motel. Anyway, up for some shoom later? Lisa got up to 1 hour and 38 minutes yesterday. New record to beat. See ya, Dave. Control points are good. All right. Well, I guess next time we'll go back to the transit bed. But that's going to be it for today. Already been going for over 3 hours, so next time on Control, schedule should all be updated. That's not right. It's supposed to be TBD again because I'm doing field work starting this week, so I may be unable or just simply too tired to stream. But we'll play it by ear. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Have a nice evening. Bye.